Hello and welcome to PQ Prime. A very good afternoon to all the viewers. Clearly, there is pressure building in terms of where markets go, and we are seeing profit booking that is coming in the last hour of trade. A similar trend that we witnessed in yesterday's session as well. Overall, if you see Nifty 50, we are below the 18,300 mark already. In fact, we did hit a low of 18,262 as well in intraday trade in the last 15 minutes. Cuts of around 0.4% coming in there. Similarly, the pressure is building on terms of Bank Nifty, 300 points coming in on Bank Nifty as well. 33,660 is where we are trading at in terms of Bank Nifty. Overall, in terms of stock specific action, let's quickly look at the counters which are in the green: Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's. So it's the Pharma pack which is up, Hero Motor, Titan, SBI Life. In fact, the Auto pack will be in focus as well ahead of the auto sales numbers that will be reported soon in the next 3 to 4 days. Adani group of companies are seeing profit booking in today's session. So enterprises and ports is down. Tata Motors is down. HDFC Twins are also a major drag in terms of markets. So clearly, profit booking is the theme over the last two trading days. To discuss more on what's in store, Hemen Kapadia, Senior VP Institutional Equity at KR Choksi, joins in. Hemen, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Very good afternoon here. Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Heyman, clearly, it seems that the supply at higher levels is keeping the up move under check so far, because last two trading sessions, we've seen last hour selling pressure that has come in, and clearly, investors are booking profits. What's the sense that you pick up basis the charts and the derivative data that you're seeing?
Frankly speaking, here are a couple of points. Firstly, I think the laws of gravity need to be respected. We've had a 1650 point move here. I mean, that's great. Okay, there's been chaos and mayhem all around the world on various rate hikes and geopolitical tensions and whatever. And we have stood out like as a rock. So we've had a brilliant run up. We are what we look going through is simply a little bit of time and price retracement. In more simple terms, we can call it a consolidation here. 18,450. Okay, earlier it was around 350, but now 18,450. This area has been a source of resistance for a long time. And exactly like you pointed out, we flattened, we are struggling. Now the VIX hasn't gone up too much. It was sub 12. We've gone to 13. That's not much, not a cause for concern. The Bank Nifty, two stocks which led the entire move. I mean, sorry, not two stocks, two sectors, I'd say. The Bank Nifty has been right at the helm of leading things. Now that has stagnated. 44,100 has turned out to be a tough nut to crack. But once again, we've had a superb run up. It's a bit tired. It's recovering. Reliance gave a move. Reliance has walked into a little bit of a correction. So frankly speaking, we've had a very nice move. And normally people say sell in May and go away. We've seen two lower circuits in May. So comparatively, we haven't done bad in May if you look at the history. We are cooling off, and I believe this is good if we are going to make an attempt at a fresh high or an all-time high. Setup is fine. A cool off is happening. Mid caps, this time mid caps, small caps, they've also joined the party. The market breadth is good. The only fly in the ointment that I can see, if any, is the dollar index and the rupee dollar equation. Now the dollar index is strong and the dollar looks like appreciating against the rupee. So that is what I'd be worried about, Hira.
Right. So moving on, if you see in terms of Bank Nifty as well, right? Clearly, you have the 44,000 call as well as put strike, I beg your pardon, are holding a sizable open interest as of yesterday as well. In today's session, again, clearly we are seeing some bit of strength that is seen for the PSU banks, though there has been underperformance vis-a-vis what we've seen on the Nifty. How are you looking at the Bank Nifty and what are the levels you're tracking?
7 trading sessions and counting, Hiral. If I look at the Bank Nifty spot, trading sessions, and yes, now also there's another point I somehow forgot to mention. 44,152 Hiral was the all-time high posted on 14th December 2022 for the Bank Nifty. Now we've come to 44,151.70, 44,144. So simply put, an all-time high is going to provide significant resistance, and like you mentioned, we've struggled over here. The OI interest also, option interest seems to suggest. And we also have a monthly expiry along with a weekly expiry. So frankly speaking, it's a whole culmination of bunch of factors. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 trading sessions here. We haven't been taken out. We haven't been able to take out 44,152. Before that, we also have resistance at 43,853. Support comes in at 43,600 and 43,327. So if we close below 43,600, we just might. If that happens, maybe we lose a few hundred points. But till we don't take out 44,152, I think it might take some working. It's an all-time high. We would remain stock specific. Having said that, the PSU banks that you mentioned, the bank Nifty weightage is 30%, the private sector is 70%. But from a longer term, not near term, all of them have corrected. But from a longer term point of view, I believe PSU banks can perform or outperform, at least in this calendar year, vis-a-vis the private sector banks.
Right. So that's with regards to the bank Nifty. Now talking about stock specific action, let's pick up a Dixon Technologies, Hemant. Clearly the demand is strong, good long positions that are being added on the counter, and this is following the Q4 numbers. What would you advise an investor to do with the Dixon Technologies?
Almost a 22-week consolidation, Hiran. One cannot second guess the results, but almost a 22-week consolidation between 2,600 and 3,100 on the downside. So 2,600 on the downside, 3,100 on the upside, and the results provided the trigger for a breakout. So frankly speaking, running pell-mell, but closer to 3,650, we are walking into a virtual roadblock, and we are already at 3,500 after posting a high of 3,583 intraday today. So as an investor, I think time being, stay away, wait for a cool off. If you are an F&O trader, around these levels, 3,600 plus, you can probably book some profits. The advice is not to go short. You can just get a bit light considering the quantum and speed of the rise. A cool off would ensue, after which it could continue. So time being, it's in a no trade zone, honestly.
Okay, so that's with regards to Dixon Technologies. In terms of other names, if you see, you have Deepak Nitrite, Loris Labs, Crompton Greaves. All of these counters are also seeing a strong long build up. Let's start with the Deepak Nitrite.
Well, frankly speaking, this was for the asking. A beautiful rounding bottom formation on the weekly chart, Cyril. That's basically a bullish formation. A beautiful rounding bottom, and now we are seeing a intermediate uptrend. There's also a supply line from the all-time high of 3,020 to 2,000, which it has overcome. You have significant volume action, and today volume is absolutely gone through the roof. It's almost 40 lakh shares. Now this cash market, this is not delivery marking, this is gross volume. But I think this is, as long as I can see, so much volume has happened first time after almost 2 years here also. High volume breakout, rounding bottom, everything seemed hunky-dory. But once again, I mean, if an F&O stock moves 10% in just one day, I'd say wait for sanity to prevail, let it cool off. But the setup has distinctly turned positive.
Right. So that's what Deepak Nitrite. What about the other names as well? Because good longs in a Loris Labs and a Crompton Greaves.
Loris Labs is another rounding bottom here. And I believe this could be the beginning of a bounce back. It's virtually fallen off a cliff. If you check out the charts, right from a high of 723 in August 21, when we went to a low of 279 in April 23. So it's become almost 1/3. And now we've had a major consolidation phase on the weekly, not the monthly yet. And this recent leg, it has fallen from 605 to 278. Looks good. I think this can be considered. It has oversold. I mean, it was oversold. Things are picking up higher tops, higher bottoms, above the 55-day exponential moving average. Mechanical indicators have given a crossover buy, and like I said, rounding bottom, clear buy on declines.
Right. Adani Enterprises, last couple of trading sessions has been really strong, and it seems there is some bit of profit booking that's coming in. What are charts indicating?
Well, in this week, if the stock moves 35%, frankly speaking, Hiral, it was expected, and I think it makes it healthy. One point, we've had a gap on the daily chart. The gap is between 2,400 and 2,347. Normally, big stocks, F&O stocks, the gaps have a tendency to get covered. That's what's happening. And once again, 1872 to 2759 in 3 trading sessions. Oh my God, it's like the Concorde jet. But yes, a cool off. It might cool off more. This gap that I mentioned would get covered up, or that would not need to, but would get covered up. And we consolidate just a wee bit. Volume, price action, everything seems to suggest that after a small breather passes the taking rally, we'd see an upside coming in again here.
Right. How are you looking at a Shree Cement and a Ashok Leyland? Because both these counters are also seeing a short build up in today's day of trade.
Okay, Shree Cement, frankly speaking, out of my opinion, shouldn't be in the F&O segment. Large stocks, less liquidity. So, you don't expect too much of price action simply because difficult to trade bigger stocks. But yes, the setup is just about getting spoiled. We've spent 5 weeks now in a range between sub 23,600 and 25,000. And now we are getting heavy. Today we will close below the 55-day exponential moving average, like you mentioned here, on higher volume. So we are dangerously poised. We haven't closed below 23,600 on the cash market, Hiral, since I think 10 February 23. So we are at crucial supports. If this support cracks, I think we see clear for the downside. The setup doesn't look very convincing, so I'd stay away. And yes, a short can be considered, but we are getting closer to its support, so ideally on a bounce. Ashok Leyland is facing resistance from its high. 154, 155 has been a source of resistance here. So this is the bull market profit booking. While structurally, Shree Cement is getting slightly negative, Ashok Leyland is just a retracement in a uptrend. I believe it's a profit booking, and after a few days, we would probably continue or consolidate and then move up.
Right. Hemen, apart from the names that we've discussed so far, anything that comes to your radar that a trader or an investor should look at from tomorrow's trading perspective?
Frankly speaking, Hiral, I believe this correction is going to hang on for a few days more. I'm not saying it's going to be a big thing, but looking at Reliance, looking at the Nifty, and looking at the Bank Nifty, everything seems to suggest that. Plus, we have a monthly expiry, so I believe a few days more would get taken for this correction to play out. But yeah, coming back to stocks which look interesting, I think the IT pack has been a pleasant surprise, Hiral. I'd say not from a very intraday point of view, but from a position point of view, HCL Tech stands out. We've on the way. I'm saying this because the weekly charts are not yet over, but it's on the verge of giving a weekly breakout after a long time. So this looks very interesting. We're at 1110, 1109. One can buy it, say maybe 10 points lower tomorrow in a slightly wobbly market. Keep a 25 rupee stop loss, keep a 50 rupee target as F&O call for the month of June. We have a long series, 29 June. So HCL Tech, I mean, the entire IT pack looks good, but HCL Tech is something that stands out for me here.
Right. So HCL Tech, that's a counter we should be watching out for, as Hemen is mentioning. Thank you, Hemen, so much for joining us on the show and giving us those views. But clearly, we are back below the 18,300 mark in terms of Nifty 50 cuts of around almost 0.3 to 0.4% coming in there on a closing basis. Though the advanced decline ratio pretty much still favors the bulls if you look at Nifty 50. And you have Bank Nifty, which has ended below the 43,700 mark. Overall, if you see the stocks, clearly you have a Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, ITC, Indocin, and a Titan, which have held on to gains, and there was profit booking that came in Adani Enterprises, both Tata Motors, HDFC Bank, as well as ICICI Bank. In fact, it was the HDFC twins that also put a lot of pressure overall. If you see it in terms of broader markets, you had the Deepak Nitrite, a 10% surge coming in on the back of the 5,000 crore capex plan that they've announced. Mahindra CIE jumped as well as promoters are selling their entire stake and hit the stock at a 52-week high. Shriram Properties gained the most in a week, and this is after bagging the rights for a 3.2 million square feet project. You had a HDFC AMC, which has got their semi-final approval for change in control post the HDFC Bank merger. On the back of earnings, you had a Hindalco which reacted. Sudarshan Chemicals saw smart gains, in fact, upwards in double digits. Dixon Technologies surged in trade as well on the back of a spectacular set of numbers. Biocon has gained the most in 17 months, and this is mainly on the back of the profit that actually went ahead and beat street estimates. Galaxy Surfactants was under pressure on the back of a profit decline. Polyplex stumbled on the back of a profit plunge. And you had a Metro Brands, interesting recovery that did come in on this counter after the biggest drop that we've seen on the company in over a year. A lot of auto companies and auto ancillary companies that hit a 52-week high in today's day of trade for the likes of a Seat, Apollo Tires, TVS Motors, as well as a Suprajit Engineering. So a lot of movers and shakers in trade today, a lot of newsmakers, but clearly there is profit booking, there is consolidation that's coming in the markets, and as Hemen was mentioning, that is something which could continue for the next couple of trading sessions, and the volatility is expected to remain high, taking the expiry as well, because today, tomorrow, the expiry is also pretty close by in terms of FNO. So, mind your bets that you take, and overall, that consolidation phase is something that will continue. That's all that we have in this session. Thank you for watching and have a great evening.